YouTube Live, and today I'm going to show you a fun little card that I made with the Counting Sheep stamp set and the coordinating sheep dies from the upcoming Sale-a-bration catalog from Sale-a-bration brochure, I guess I should say, from Stampin' Up. It's a really cute set, and I love that you can get it for free. I love that you can get the stamp set for free and the dies for free both, with orders of $50 or greater during Sale-a-bration. So that is a nice little, like I said, a nice little bonus. Sale-a-bration starts on August 3rd and it runs through September 30th of 2021. So that's coming up soon here, just in a couple weeks, we're going to be starting Sale-a-bration. And so, like I said, it's really awesome that you can earn these products for free with an order of $50 or greater. You can get the stamp set with an order of $50 or greater, or the die set with an order of $50 or greater. So if you order 100, then you can actually get both of them. So it's nice that the die set is actually a $50 item, because a lot of times the die sets are $100 items, but this one is $50, so it's awesome. So you can get the whole bundle for free with an order of $100 or greater starting on August 3rd. Hi, Bree and Michelle and Rosie, and I'm glad you like my card, and your set is coming, and I'm excited for that, and Kay is here as well, and Debbie, so thanks so much for joining. So how cute is that? Well, I mean, not that I'm like the awesomest designer or anything, but this stamp set is so cute and so fun and so easy to use. So just put together a fun little card with it today. So again, we'll start with the stamp set. This is the Counting Sheep, sorry, I know there's a glare on it, Counting Sheep stamp set. And it's got 3 cute little sheep images, some fun sentiments in it, a little birthday hat, and then a little, bit of grass. If you don't want them standing, floating in air, you can do that. So, hey, Michelle, thanks for joining. And then we've got the die set. This is the sheep dies, and you get both of them in your shipment. It'll be here on Monday. Yes, it's a lot of fun. It's a cute little set. So we've got the coordinating sheep dies, and obviously the little dies cut out the little dancing sheep that we've got here, and the little party hat. It's upside down, sorry, on my die sheet. And then there's some accessory pieces as well. This, I think, is technically supposed to be a cloud, but I totally stole the idea out of the Sale-a-bration brochure, and I turned it into a little shrub here on the card front. And then we've got a fun little gate or fence, and then there's a balloon and a flag and the sunshine, and there's another little cloud. So anyway, it's a good die set, good stamp set, lots of fun, and again, you can get it for free. This together. You can either get them individually with an order of $50 or greater, or you can get them together. If you order $100 or greater, you can get both pieces starting on August 3rd. Oh, I better set my dies over here because we're going to need those in a second. The other thing that I used on this, well, 2 other things that I used on this card. Hey, Danette, thanks for hopping in today. On the inside, I used the sentiment from the Happiest of Birthdays stamp set. This is one from the annual catalog. So that's another good one. And also I used one of the little openings here, this one in particular, from the Messages die. So hey, Patricia and Sarah, thanks for joining. Glad you could catch me live today as well. So this is the little sentiment die cut that I used for the sentiment, obviously. I just stamped it on a small piece of basic white cardstock and then put the cardstock through that opening and ran it through my die cutting machine. So you don't have to do like a whole huge sheet of die cutting, labels if you don't want to. So just be aware of that. You can always just place a little piece of cardstock underneath any of the individual label spaces here and die cut just that piece. You love the sheep. It's a fun stamp set. Last thing that I used on here is one of the stitched rectangle dies, and it's actually the 3rd from the largest, and I used that to die cut the little background panel here and the little designer paper that I've got here that's supposed to look like grass. So those are the things that I used on this card. Couple things before we get going. Designer Series paper sale is going on from Stampin' Up! Right now. So, you get your stamp set yesterday, Rita, and I'm so glad. And have fun playing with it. You're going to love it. So, we got the Designer Series paper sale going on from Stampin' Up! Right now, which these are papers from the current annual catalog, and they're a beautiful set of papers. They're all 15% off, and they're all really good, so you definitely need to get them all. And yeah, still they're 15% off for the entire month of July, and then it runs through August 2nd. So again, make sure you're getting your papers ordered. The details are on my blog, which is stampwithamyk.com. Karen, thanks for hopping in today. And Beth says the lambs are adorable. Yes, I'm glad that we were able to get a die set to go with it too, because I'm all about bundles. So anything that I don't have to fussy cut, I'm all about that. I do not like fussy cutting. Dies are the only way to go, as far as I'm concerned. All right. Speaking of designer series papers, the one that I used in the background is actually, and it's from the same piece. So this is actually from the Pattern Party Designer Series Paper Pack, which is a huge pack of paper that you can get for free as a host item in the current annual catalog. So to get the host item, you'd have to put in an order of $150 or greater, or host a party that has sales of $150 or greater. And this is one of the items that you can get for free with your host cash from Stampin' Up. So if you have questions about that or wonder how you can earn this huge pack of paper, it's a big 12 by 12 pack of paper with tons of different designs in it. It's 48 sheets of 12 by 12, so it's a huge, huge pack of paper. And a good one. Lots of pretty and fun designs in it. So let me know if you have questions about that. Drop me an email at amy@stampwithamyk.com, and I'd be happy to chat with you more about it. So it will, actually, I thought about for a long time about using the stamp set with the Give It a Whirl die, and I didn't do it, and I probably should have, because this little sheep I thought would be so cute twirling around on the card front. I probably will someday, but I didn't get it done for this card. So the background, sorry, I should have been paying attention and telling you what I was doing instead of just talking. So I've got a thick basic white card base that is cut to 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4.25. And then I've got a piece of 4.25 by 5.5 of the Pattern Party Designer Series paper that I've stuck down with multi-purpose liquid glue to the card front. I did some of the die cutting and things ahead of time, so to save us a little bit of time, plus it's boring watching me die cut. So this actually is a piece of Pool Party cardstock, and I have just cut it again with the third largest of the stitched rectangle dies. Hey, Jan, thanks for joining. And Myrtle, I'm glad you're here, and I won't tell a soul, I promise. So this piece of paper is actually, again, from that same Pattern Party Designer Series paper pack. And I used the very same die with it, but I just took it and I cut about an inch-ish. I'm going to call it an inch-ish because I don't know, I didn't measure it exactly. I just knew that I wanted it to be about that wide, and I ran it through my die cutting machine just on the edge of a piece of the Designer Series paper. So that is how I cut it, so that it's got the little stitched edge on it, and so that these two fit together perfectly. So let me get a little bit of Stampin' Seal out here, get that going, and we will start sticking pieces together here. All right. Speaking of Designer Series paper, I am doing a Designer Series paper share from the upcoming mini catalog, which is it's called July to December 2021 mini catalog, but it's actually, ordering starts on August 3rd. And I know it's confusing, but there was a whole shipping issue with, COVID. Ugh, I don't even want to say it. So, but there were some shipping delays, and so Stampin' Up! Actually has pushed the start date out a little bit so that they'd have product in stock instead of having everything unavailable when we wanted to order it. So there's that. But if you're a customer of mine, I have mailed out the catalogs. So people are starting to receive them, so yay. But yeah, it's a good catalog. Can't wait for y'all to see it. Okay. Next up, a little bit of stamping. Again, I did some of this ahead of time. I did one of the little sheet because it's the same basic coloring idea. And I didn't think you wanted to sit and watch me color it 3 times. So I colored and cut one ahead of time. We're going to stamp and die cut another one here on screen. So we've got the little sheep image. This is the kind of the dancing sheep. And I've got Tuxedo Black Memento ink that I'm going to stamp him in on a piece of basic white cardstock. And let's see if we can get a good image here. Hopefully I will the first try. All right, he looks pretty good. Or she, I don't know if it's a he or she, whatever it is. The sheep, the lamb, the whatever you want to call it, the critter. Got a pretty decent image on that one. I'm going to pull a couple of markers here, and we will start coloring the sheep. So the first thing that I did, I don't know how well you can see it on screen. I'll hold it up close, and lighting I know is difficult to see it, but I put a little bit of shading around the kind of the fluffy spots on the sheep and around the edges. So, hey Janet, thanks for joining from Arkansas today. And I used light gray granite. And all that I did to get that kind of shadow effect is I take my light gray granite marker, and I'm just going around anywhere where there's the edge of the sheep or there's one of those little like fluff lines. I don't know. Is it shadow lines? I'm not really sure what the fluff lines, I'm sure, is not the right thing to call it. But I basically just kind of went around and traced around the edges of the sheep with my light gray granite marker, and then made sure that I added a little bit to anywhere where it looked like there was a little, you know, little shading, I guess, that Stampin' Up! Had put on it. So we've got the gray granite, and again, hopefully you can see that on the screen, but I've just done a little tracing around the edge with that. And then I'm going to take my color lifter, which is like the color eraser for Stampin' Blends. And I'm just going to take that and kind of scribbly color it all the way around. Ooh, I better get that out from underneath so I don't end up with gray granite in a place where I don't want it to be. I'm just going to take that and kind of scribbly color to give it a little shadow effect around the edge of the sheep. So that is, I do this a lot of times on snowmen. Sometimes I will do it in Pool Party ink if I'm doing it on a snowman. Sometimes I use the gray granite or smoky slate as well. But any of the kind of lighter colors, it works pretty well with. Even if you wanted to do something in petal pink or whatever, you can definitely do that. Just pick the light color and then take your Stampin', take your color lifter and just kind of scratchy color over the top of it. I kind of do a little bit of a swirling motion as I'm doing it, or I try to remember to do that. And it just kind of gives it a little shadow effect. So if there are some areas on here, I try to give it a second to let it dry and see what the colors are going to look like. And I'm just, like I said, just kind of, I come back in a little bit, try to lighten up if there's anywhere where it's a little darker. So I've just got, you know, a little bit too much up here, maybe on the kind of the face and around the top of the head, and just do a little bit of color lifting. And that's all I do. And that gives it kind of a fun little shadow effect. So, hey, Annie, thanks for joining. Glad that you're here from North Dakota for the first time. And then, and then Jeannie's here as well, so loving the stamp set. It is really cute. It's a lot of fun. All right, so the legs and the face of the sheep, I actually colored with light petal pink. So we're just going to add a little bit of color to the legs and to his or her little face, or the critter's little face, or whatever you want to call it, sheep, lamb. Added a little bit to the ears as well, and then the other little leg. And then the final thing that I did is I thought that it needed a little something on the hoofs. So I did a dark smoky slate, dark gray granite, not smoky slate, sorry. I'm calling it the wrong color. So dark gray granite to color in the little hoofs and just give it a little bit of contrast and a little bit of color. So that is all that I did. And again, it was the same exact process for coloring this sheep and die cutting it. But like I said, I figured once you saw it once, you didn't want to sit and have to watch me do it, you know, 3 times on this card. So, all right, so I'm going to take the little sheep die. I'm going to be off to my right here, and I'm going to die cut this little sheep out. So, hey, Lonnie, thanks for hopping in. I'm glad that you were able to find me finally. So, I'm out. Yeah, YouTube can sometimes be a little bit of a pain when you're trying to search. But I try to link it up in my blog post and on my Facebook post so that you can click on it and hopefully it takes you directly to my YouTube page. So, thanks, Mary. I'm glad you like it. It's a really cute set. So, all right. Let's get that put back and get my little die cut sheep over here. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment while we're here. And actually, I'm going to stamp on the inside of my card. I don't know if you saw, I have a little sheep in there as well. So I'm going to stamp my little sheep on the inside since I've got everything out here and ready to go. Anyway, we will just stamp the little sheep on the inside of the card. And again, it's just basic white cardstock. I'm going to set that aside and we'll color that in a minute. Sentiment. Let's get that stamped here. And I did a little, just for a little color contrast, I used Coastal Cabana instead of Pool Party on it, just because I wanted it to be a little bit brighter, a little different color than what I used for the background. And we'll go ahead and stamp that here on the basic white cardstock. And then I'm going to take the die from the Messages dies, and I'm just going to take this and run it right through my die cutting machine just like this. I'm going to run it through so that it's only cutting out what I want it to. If I wanted an even smaller piece of paper, I could even just trim it down to this, but we won't worry about that today. So, oh, thanks, Rosie. I appreciate that. So let me get this die cut. And all the details for this card are going to be posted on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. The post will go live around 8 o'clock Eastern time in the morning. So I will add a link to the blog post just as soon as the blog post goes live. So you will be able to see all the details for this card out there on my blog at that point. All right, so we've got our little sentiment die cut here. And then, a couple other things that I did ahead of time. I didn't color them, but I stamped ahead of time a couple of the little party hats and die cut them. They're just stamped in tuxedo black memento ink on basic white cardstock. And I did one of them with a green, little granny apple green background. And the other one has granny apple green polka dots on it. All right, and that was the light granny apple green that I used first. This is the dark, and I'm just going to come back in and put just a little touch of the dark color on some of the spots here around the party hat. It doesn't need to be a whole lot of it. Then I'm going to come back here with my light and do a little bit of blending on this one. The dots don't really need it, but the background gets a little blotchy if you don't. Then I've got light pool party that I'm using to color in around the polka dots on the one hat. And then I'm going to use the light pool party to color in the polka dots on the other hat. And again, I'll just do the same thing with the dark pool party Stampin' Blends marker. Just add a little touch of color to the hat. All right, so we've got all of our coloring, all of our stamping, all of our die cutting done. Again, I cut these ahead of time. These are supposed to be clouds, I think, but I made them into little, they're going to be little shrubs on my card. And they were cut from garden green cardstock, again, with the sheep dies. And then I've got a little fence, and hopefully you can see that. It's really cute how it cuts it out and embosses it as well. And this is cut from crumb cake cardstock. Now, I put this on here this way around, and my daughter's like, that's upside down. And I said, I don't know. I don't think it's upside down, but we're going with it because I thought it was kind of cute where it hung off the edge of the card. So that's why I did it that way. All right, so actually, the only thing that was a little tricky about this card is I wanted this little sheep's front leg to be over the front of the fence, or over the top of the fence. So I wanted it to look like he was hopping over the fence. So again, it's not really difficult, but it's just took me a little second to kind of get everything worked out how I was going to get this all stuck together. So I actually just took a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue and I put it on the top fence bar. Bar isn't the right word. Top of the fence slat, is that what they call those? And then to fit these together, I kind of took the little sheep's front feet, put it over the fence first, and you'll note that they're kind of far apart here, so I'm trying not to get glue all over my sheep before I want to get glue all over it. And then pressed the two together here in the middle and gave it just a second to set up so that I've now got it glued together, and then I can put it straight on my card front that way. That made it a little bit easier, just so that I knew placement-wise exactly how, is it post when they go across? Posts I know go up and down. I don't know. I'm sure, again, I know that there's a correct term for it, but when I'm out here on the live, oftentimes I'm like, I can't remember. And then I'm just adding a little bit of liquid glue to the fence and to the back of the sheep, and we are just going to flip it over and try not to put my fingers in the glue and stick this onto the card front. And again, I didn't really, placement-wise, I don't know that I really had like a specific, it has to go here kind of placement. I just knew that generally I wanted this side of the fence to hang off a little bit and wanted to be able to see the green as well as a little bit of the pool party from in the fence, in between the fence slats or whatever you call that. Rail. You're probably right. So the sheep are so cute in this stamp set. I definitely agree, Jeannie. They're way cute. All right, then I've got my little party hat here all done as well. And I should grab my reverse tweezers. That would make it easier to pick up these little pieces because sometimes my fingers work well and then sometimes not as much. All right, so we've got a little glob of the multi-purpose liquid glue, and we are going to put the party hat on the guy jumping over the fence, or the girl, the sheep, the critter, jumping over the fence, and got a little bit of liquid glue that we're going to use to stick these two little die cuts on the front of the card as well. And again, these are garden green and just cut from garden green cardstock, and I use the little sheep dies to die cut these. And again, I think they're supposed to be clouds, but one of the samples in the Sale-a-bration brochure actually showed them like this as little shrubs, and I thought they were way too cute. I actually like them better as little shrubs than I do as clouds. So, and yes, you definitely need this. I just saw, was it Brenda? Yes, you need to get this set. It's way cute. All right, so we've got that put together. Then we've got our one little dancing sheep that we have here that I'm going to adhere onto the card front with Stampin' Dimensionals. And I used my my chopped in half big Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere the sheep. And then we're going to use one of the mini ones, I know, which I almost never use those, to adhere the little party hat underneath the sheep, or on top of the sheep, I should say, on top of the sheep's head. All right, so we've got our little dancing sheep over here. And my other little party hat, I'm going to take that and flip it over, and I'm going to use one of the mini dimensionals, and I will stick it here and hope that I get it placed in a spot where it's not going to show on the edges. That was the most difficult thing with the little Stampin' Dimensional, is trying to make sure it didn't show around the edges, and I think I got it in the right spot, and if I didn't, oh, there's a little bit sticking out, so snips. Let me see, there we go. I can always just trim off a little bit of the extra from the edge of that. And then I put the dimensional up a little bit so that I'd have room to sort of maneuver it around on the top of the sheep's head. And then I'm just going to stick that to the card front with the Stampin' Dimensional. The last little piece that we've got here is, he would be cute as a wobbler, yes, and definitely as a spinner. Jean, we were chatting about that earlier, and I said I was like this close to making this a spinner card, and then chickened out at the last minute and turned it into a regular card. So then I'm going to tuck my little sentiment in here, just using Stampin' Seal to adhere that above the little dancing sheep. And then we're going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals, and we're going to adhere this to the, here we go, to the card front. And we're almost done. We just have the inside left to go. And hopefully y'all are enjoying your day. If you are not currently a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, but would like to get your hands on this product early, definitely join now. It's a great time to join as a demonstrator. Starter kits are $99, and you get free shipping on those. And you get to pick $125 worth of Stampin' Up! Merchandise with your starter kit, which is always a great deal. And then once you join, any order that you place between now and the end of Sale-a-bration, you will earn free stuff, just like a customer does. So demonstrators earn free product as well. For every order, anything of $50 or greater, you start earning some free stuff from Stampin' Up! So yay. And this is on here totally crooked. Wowee. That was, woo. Anyway, hopefully I got it on there a little straighter. So the sentiment is from the Happiest of Birthdays stamp set. Let me pull that out again here. So that was the stamp set that I used. Grab that sentiment for the inside of it. And I've got Coastal Cabana ink. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp this on my panel where I've already got my sheep, and hope that I get everything stamped on here relatively straight. I think it did all right. Sometimes I do better than others. All right, and then the same thing on the little sheep here on the inside of the card. We're just going to do the coloring with the light. Whoop, almost grabbed my dark one instead. Do a little tracing around the edge with the light gray granite Stampin' Blends marker. And a little bit along the fluff here. And again, I had stamped this I stamped the card front, just did a little stamping on the inside of the card as well, so that I wouldn't have to pull everything out. Yes, it does give you an extra month of Sale-a-bration, which is really awesome as a demonstrator. We get all this stuff early. Oh, and plus, you can order from the upcoming mini catalog as a demonstrator. You can add those items to your starter kit right now as well, so you get an extra month of mini catalog goodies. So, yay. And once you join as a demonstrator, you actually get at least a 20% discount on all the orders that you place. So double yay, always good. All right, and as I did on the card front, I'm just taking my color lifter and I am kind of scribbling over what I had drawn on there with the gray granite, just to give it a little shadow effect. Then we are going to take, oop, that's the dark color, I keep grabbing the wrong one, take light petal pink Stampin' Blends, and we're going to color in the little face and the ears and the feet, or legs, I guess. And then we're going to use dark gray granite to color in the little hooves. or feet or whatever you want to call them on your sheep. So I don't know. I know they're not sheep nails, but they needed a little nail polish, so that's why I used dark gray granite on them. Plus, I thought it was kind of cute. All right, so we're going to take a little stamp and seal and adhere this to the inside of the card, and we will be all done for the day today. So I appreciate y'all joining me today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. And again, if you're interested in getting this stuff early, drop me an email at amy@stampwithamyk.com, and we can chat more about joining. Otherwise, everything will be available again for free with an order of $50 or greater starting on August 3rd. All right, so there's the card I made ahead of time. Here's the one we made on the video today. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your Friday and a fantastic weekend. And I will plan to see you all on my Facebook channel live around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesday next week, and then back here out on YouTube live around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Friday. Have a great weekend, and we will chat soon.